Hello everyone. Last time we saw how to apply the momentum equation to solve open channel flow problems, and in today's lecture we are going to discuss about the application of energy equation. So we have written the form of conservation equations that in the last lectures we have seen how to write the continuity equation. We also saw how to write the energy equation and momentum equation. So how to use those equations, we are discussing about that, and today we will discuss how to apply the energy equation. So it is also a very useful equation. Quite simply you can get a lot of understandings for the open channel flow. Okay, so today we will try to solve one problem by using this energy equation. Alright, so I'll just read out the problem. So we are given a sluice gate in a 2 meter wide rectangular channel is discharging freely as shown in the figure, and the depths y1 and y2 are given. What we are asked to find out is we have to find out the flow discharge Q. Okay, in two conditions. We have two cases for which we have to find out the discharge. For the first case, by neglecting the energy loss at the gate. So in the first case there is no energy loss, and for the second case we have to assume energy loss at the gate is 10% of the upstream depth. Alright, so I will discuss the problem first. So what we are given, we have a rectangular channel. Now this is the side view of that channel. If you want to understand in the 3 dimensions how the flow is taking place, so let's say this is your channel and it is rectangular. Okay, it is a rectangular channel like this, flow is taking place. Alright, flow is coming, open channel flow. Alright, some flow is coming here. Okay, now what we have done here, we have placed a sluice gate. Okay, this is called as a sluice gate. Now what is a sluice gate? Basically sluice gate is a metal plate, or it is a plate made up of some strong material which can withstand the hydrostatic pressure. Let's say it is made up of some metal, and that plate is inserted along rails. So along this edges we have some rails installed, and along the rails I sections this metal plate can move. Okay, so we have a plate like this. We will place the plate and it will stop the flow of water. Okay, so you can stop the flow of water by applying a plate. Okay, stopping it with a plate. This plate is called as a sluice gate. Okay, and what happens when you want to start the flow? When you basically this plate or this sluice gate is used for flow regulation. That means for controlling the open channel flow. Okay, so you have, so this is your flow depth. Okay, and this is your sluice gate. This is your channel bottom. Okay, and now suppose you want to start the flow, but you very less discharge you want to pass through the channel, so you will lift the gate a little bit. Okay, so what happens, flow takes place below the sluice gate. Okay, from the channel bottom. Okay, so gate is lifted up, some space is created from the channel bottom, and in through that space the water flows out. Okay, so water comes out through this space. Okay, so this is how a sluice gate works. Okay, so upstream you will have some depth, pounding depth, and downstream of the sluice gate you will have some flow depth. Okay, so water will flow like this. Okay, this is the flow direction Q. Okay, now when we are having a sluice gate, we can easily apply the energy equation if we know the losses, or even if we don't know the losses at the gate. Okay, so now our job is to find out, now we know the depths at upstream of the gate, the depth is 2.5 meters, and at the downstream of the gate the depth is 0.2 meters. Okay, the water is flowing below this sluice gate. Okay, through this gate. Okay, now whenever we want to solve the open channel flow problems, we should apply the control volume approach, because mostly it is suitable to solve the problem. So if you want to plot a control volume, so let's plot a correct control volume here. So I will mark the control volume first. Okay, so this is my control volume. Okay, so there are again sections 1 1 or surface 1 1 to be more precise. This will be control surface number 1, control surface number 2 2. Okay, now water is coming inside from the surface 1 1 and it is leaving through the surface 2 2. Okay, now our job is to find out the discharge. We want to know, what we want to know is how much volume flow rate is flowing through this sluice gate. But there are two conditions. For the first case, for the first condition, there is no energy loss, that we have to neglect the energy loss at the gate. Okay, so when the flow is taking place through the sluice gate, definitely because of the contraction there will be some energy losses. Okay, so some head loss will take place at the gate, but for the first case we are going to neglect it. So let's try to solve for the first case. Now see, the very first equation that you should apply, which is the very first equation which you can apply and you should apply, is the continuity equation, conservation of mass, because it will be applicable for any real fluid flow problem. So applying continuity equation, what do we get by applying the continuity equation? At both locations, at both surfaces you apply, at surface 1 1 and surface 2 2. So at surface 1 1, Q1 should be equal to Q2. Okay, so this is our continuity equation. The discharge at surface 1 should be equal to discharge at surface 2, since mass is conserved. Okay, and flow is incompressible, otherwise we have to write the mass flow rate. Okay, mass flow rate at 1 equal to mass flow rate at 2. Alright, so that gives us discharge can be written as area into velocity, and at section 1 or at surface 1, how much is the discharge? It is area of the flow into velocity, average velocity of the flow. So A1 into V1. Okay, V1 is the average velocity at V1, A1 is the flow area at V1. So A1 V1 will be equal to A2 V2. Alright, now A1, it is a rectangular channel. So what is the flow area that we have seen last time, how to calculate the flow areas? A1 is B into Y1. B is the base width of the rectangular channel. Okay, and base width, how much the base width is given? It is given as 2 meters. Again, so, and A2 will be B into Y2. Since base width is not changing, we can write A2 as B into Y2. Base width into the flow depth. Now equate this, just put this in the equation. Therefore we have B Y1 V1, that is equal to B Y2 into V2. Okay, so this B will get cancelled on both sides, we are getting, therefore we can write V1 equal to Y2 by Y1 into V2. Okay, so we can write V1 in the form of V2. This one expression you will get. Okay, now second equation that you can apply here is the energy equation. Since you know that the energy loss at the gate is 0 for the first case, so what you can write? So you consider the channel bottom itself as datum. Okay, or you can consider any datum. Let's say this is your datum. Okay, even if you consider any datum and write the energy equation, what you will get? This will be Z1. Okay, the height of the channel bottom from the datum, that will give you the potential head. Then you have the pressure head. This Y1 is nothing but the hydrostatic pressure at this point. Okay, at surface 1 1, how much is the hydrostatic pressure head? It is equal to Y1. Okay, and it will have some velocity head. Okay, that will be V1 square by 2g. Okay, similarly at 2 we will have Z2. Okay, then hydrostatic pressure head Y2 and some velocity head V2 square by 2g. So just apply the energy equation at 1 1 and 2 2. Apply this equation at 1 1 and 2 2. Okay, so what we can get? E1 equal to E2. energy, total energy at section 1 will be equal to total energy at section 2, since there is no energy loss. Alright, so write energy at 1, that is, therefore we have Z1 plus Y1 plus V1 square by 2G is equal to Z2 plus Y2 plus V2 square by 2G. Okay, Z1, Z2 again are same. Okay, height of the channel bottom is same from the datum, so no need of that Z1 and Z2, it will get cancelled. So I can write, therefore Y1 minus Y2 is equal to, then this will go here, V1 square by 2G will go on the right hand side, and we'll get V2 square by 2G minus V1 square by 2G. Okay, and so you can write what is Y1 minus Y2. Y1 is 2.5, Y2 is 0.2, so we can write 2.3, therefore 2.3 equal to, take 1 by 2G common, and this is V2 square minus V1 square. So V1 square you can write, V1 you can write in terms of V2. Okay, so that you will have only one unknown in this equation. So V2 is how, V1 you can write Y2 by Y1 into V2 square. Okay. .3 equal to 1.2G V2 square minus Y2 by Y1 V2 square. So what, only one unknown we are having here, that is V2. So we can solve this equation, therefore just simplify this. 2.3 into 2G will come on the left hand side, so 2 into 9.81, that is equal to, take V2 square common, V2 square, so we are having 1 minus this value is what, 0.2 Y2 by Y1, so 0.2 by 2.5 square. Okay, so this is your value. So let's solve again. So we are having 2.3 into 2 into 9.81 equal to V2 square upon V2 square into 1 minus, and this value comes out to be 0.0064. So it is 0.0064. Almost, you can also neglect also, but still will get the exact values. Therefore, again solve it further. V2 square, that will be equal to 2.3 into 2 into 9.81 upon 1 minus 0.0064. So that value comes out to be, so we get V2 square as 45.42. Okay, so therefore V2 will be square root of 45.42. Therefore V2 will be 42, and that is equal to 6.74 meters per second. So this is the velocity at, average velocity at section number 2. Okay, so now we know the average velocity at section number 2. So we can we can calculate the discharge. Yes, it is simple to calculate the discharge. Discharge is equal to area into velocity. So at this section it will be A2 into V2. Okay, flow area into average velocity. So flow area can be calculated as B into Y2. Base width into depth, rectangular cross section area, into V2 is 6.74. So therefore Q becomes, we are getting Q as 2.696 meter cube per second. Unit will be meter cube per second. Okay, so this is your discharge. So what we have done, we have just applied the energy equation. Of course we use continuity equation at the very first stage to get the relationships. Okay, basic relationships. Here we applied a continuity equation to get the relation between V1 and V2. Okay, then we applied the energy equation, and by applying the energy equation we got the value of velocity. You can find V2 also. If you replace V2 in terms of V1, you can also find out V1. Okay, so anyways you can find out either V1 or V2 by applying the energy equation and get the discharge. Okay, so this is how you can apply the energy equation. So now we'll go for the second case. What is the second case? We have to assume that there is some energy loss. It is given. Okay. So let's try to find that out for the second case. Okay. Now again, problem is the same. Only thing is, when the water is flowing through this sluice gate, we are getting some energy loss. So if, let us say, V1 square by 2G is the, let us say, energy head at section number 1. Okay, suppose. Initially what we assume that it is, the energy line is horizontal. Initially, for the first case, what we assume that this line is horizontal. So here V2 square by 2G is the velocity head at section number 2. Okay, and there is no loss of head. So this is total energy line or energy gradient line. Okay, anyways, whatever you can call, you want to call it. Okay, so the energy head line, total energy line was horizontal, no energy drop along the sluice gate. But now for the second case, there is some energy loss and quantity is also given. It is 10% of the upstream depth. So some energy is being lost. Okay, so energy line will not be horizontal. We will get some energy drop. So we will get, so some energy will get lost because of the sluice gate. Okay, contractions and all. So let's say for the second case, your total energy line will be like this. Okay, this is your total energy line. Initially it was horizontal, but now it is, and this is your energy loss, EL. Okay, and how much is the energy loss? Energy loss is 10% of depth Y1. So energy loss is given in the terms of meters. Okay, because it is given 10% of Y1, so it is given in the terms of depth. Okay, in terms of depth. So that is the head. This meter, this length is nothing but the head. So energy head, energy loss is given in terms of energy head. So let's find that out. So 0.1 times of the 2.5 meters, so that is 0.25 meters. Okay, so this is your energy loss. It is 0.25 meters. And now we want to find out the discharge. So how you can do that? Again, we'll apply the energy equation at 1 and 2. So applying energy equation, applying energy equation at 1 and 2. So we are having Z1 plus Y1 plus V1. Okay, before that I'll write in a simple form, E1 should be equal to E2. Will E1 be equal to E2? No, E1 will be E1 will be equal to E2 plus, see, this is E1. E1 is what? Y1 plus Z1 plus Y1 plus V1 square by 2G. And what is E2? Z2 plus Y2 plus V2 square by 2G. Therefore, we'll also have to consider the energy loss. So E1 equal to E2 plus EL, or energy loss. You can also call that HL. That will be more proper, but it's all right. Therefore, we are having Z1 plus Y1 plus V1 square by 2G equal to Z2 plus Y2 plus V2 square by 2G plus EL. Okay. So that we have to consider in this case. So now what this equation will become? Let's try to solve here. So Z1 and Z2 will get cancelled again because the datum heads are same. We are getting Y1 minus Y2 minus EL. Okay. I am taking this EL term on the left hand side and velocity terms on the right hand side. So we are getting V2 square by 2G minus V1 square by 2G. Again y1 minus y2 is 2.5 minus 0.2 minus 0.25. So that is equal to 1 by 2g v2 square minus v1 square. How you can write? You can write y2 by y1 into v2 whole square. Okay. In place of v1, you can write v1 in terms of v2. y2 by y1 into v2. Fine. So this is how much? 2.5 minus 2 minus 0.25 will give you 2.05. Therefore, 2.05 is equal to, we are having 1 by 2g v2 square into 1 minus, now this is y2 minus y1 whole square, that is equal to 0.08 square. So we are getting 1 minus 0.0064. Directly I am writing the values which I have already calculated. Okay, so therefore we are getting 2.05 into 2 into 9.81, just taking the 2g on the left hand side, upon this 1 minus 0.0064 is equal to v2 square. So therefore v2 square becomes equal to, value of v2 square is 40.48. Okay, so v2 we are getting velocity at section 2 we are getting 6.36 meters per second. Okay, so now we have got the velocity of v2. In the same way as we did in the previous case, we can calculate the discharge. So discharge is A2 into V2. So area into velocity, area is B into Y2 again into V2. So that is B is 2, Y is 0.2 and velocity is 6.36. So discharge we are getting finally we are getting discharge as 2.544 meter cube per second. So we have arrived at our value of volume flow rate. So in this way, what we can do, we can just apply the energy equation and get the required values. In this case, we found the velocity, average velocity, and we got the discharge. Okay, in this way we can solve problems by application of the energy equations. Okay, so as the problem comes, we should be able to apply the conservation equations correctly, and we can get a lot of information about those problems and solve those problems. Alright, thank you.